What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. A title I'm really excited about, guys, and I know a lot of you out there are really excited about it as well, is Back 4 Blood. This is a game, guys, that is coming out as a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. And I'm really excited about it, guys, because, you know, I think all of us would appreciate another Left 4 Dead game, at least just one more. We got, you know, 2 games in this franchise, and we've been hoping for years for a third game to kind of round out the trilogy if that's what they were going for. And Valve just doesn't seem to care too much about that franchise at this point in time. And so now we're getting Back 4 Blood, a spiritual successor as it's labeled to Left 4 Dead. We don't know a lot about the title at this point, guys. A lot of it is just kind of speculation, and, you know, there's a lot of question marks here, you know, what this game is all going to be about. But at the end of the day, guys, we can only, you know, it can only be so many things. If it's going to be a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, I think this is something that could be really special. And so in this first segment of the show, I want to talk about everything that we want out of Back 4 Blood. And when I say we, guys, I'm mainly talking about myself here. But I would love to hear your guys' opinions as well. Whether you agree with some of my opinions or not, let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to see in Back 4 Blood. So let's get into it. So guys, Back 4 Blood, you know, obviously, we're going based on the idea that this is, you know, a spiritual successor. This could be something that is, you know, has similarities for sure to Left 4 Dead. And my first big thing, guys, is that I want it to be a spiritual successor, but I don't want it to be a copy and paste of Left 4 Dead, essentially. I want there to be differences, and I also want there to be similarities between both games. I think that's really important when it comes to, you know, Back 4 Blood at this point, to kind of distinguish itself from, you know, Left 4 Dead. I think it would be really important because who knows, if Back 4 Blood does really well, maybe they'll decide to make more games like Back 4 Blood, and, you know, there's a good chance that they could make a full-blown franchise out of this game, and, you know, Valve may never continue the Left 4 Dead franchise. So it could be like the next thing for us in the, you know, in that kind of universe or that realm. And, you know, even though there's been other games out there that have been similar to Left 4 Dead, like World War Z, which I really enjoyed, and others, this could be something really special. But I really want them to have similarities, but I really want there to be significant differences between Back 4 Blood and Left 4 Dead. Number 2, guys, is I want a full-blown campaign or story mode in Back 4 Blood where we're able to really understand and really connect with each of the characters. I think that'd be really important as well. I think there's one thing if you just have like multiplayer and co-op modes in a game, that's all fine and dandy, but having a campaign really gets you connected with each of the characters. So a campaign, a fully fleshed out campaign would be awesome. And what that would exactly look like, who knows, guys, because we don't even know who the characters are, or really much at all about what Back 4 Blood is going to all be, but I would love to see a campaign nonetheless. That kind of leads me in the next thing, guys. One thing that I would love to see is a semi-open world to a full open world in this. Like, I can just imagine kind of Left 4 Dead, what that would be like if you had a full open world where you're able to explore and really, and, you know, kind of take in everything that that world encompasses. And I think Back 4 Blood being a spiritual successor, I would love to see like a semi-open world to a full open world. Now, obviously, we're going to have to wait for game footage and such to come out, guys, because maybe it's not going to look like the type of game that should be a full open world or a semi-open world. So we'll have to kind of, you know, wait and see on that. The next thing for me, guys, is coming into the multiplayer and the co-op modes. Having co-op modes, obviously, it's going to be very important to be able to play with your friends, but it's also going to be really important to have some multiplayer modes. Whether that's like, you know, Gears of War, where you're able to play Horde mode, where you go up against waves and waves of enemies. Maybe Back 4 Blood has something like that, where you go up against waves and waves of these creatures and such. I think that would be really cool. I also think just having, you know, even some missions that you could just have co-op missions where you could play, you know, with your friends. And then on top of that, having multiplayer modes, a number of different multiplayer modes, so that after you're done with the story, you can come over to the multiplayer and the co-op modes, and that's where most of your time is going to be put into the game, is through those. And that leads me into the next thing, guys, which is having, multiple ways you can customize and have earnable items within the multiplayer. I think that would be really cool as well, guys. Having earnable items, that being like being able to customize your weapons, customizing your characters and things of that nature, things that you can earn in-game, not necessarily using it with like microtransactions or buying things with microtransactions. I'm talking more earnable items than anything, would be something that I would really like. Being able to have a bunch of different ways you can customize your characters and such, which, what I'm thinking about is kind of Left 4 Dead and the things that I wish that we could have, some of the things at least that we could have had with Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead had some pretty cookie cutter, ideas in terms of, certain elements here, but I think that all in all, I would just like to see, continued, like customization as well as earnable items in Back 4 Blood, which I think could actually make it a really special experience. Now, ultimately, guys, that's pretty much everything that we want out of the game. The other, like, minor things here that I thought I would kind of mention, something that would be really cool is if Back 4 Blood was free to play. I thought, Back 4 Blood, this game's coming out. It's going to be a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. What better way to grow this franchise in a major way, or at least this game in particular, than by making it free to play? Having it accessible to everyone to play it, I actually think could make this, this game be something really big, could be really special as well. We look at all the different AAA titles out there in the gaming landscape that are free to play at this point, and I think that Back 4 Blood could certainly do well making it a free-to-play game. Now, I don't know if the developers and the publishers are going to want to do that, but I think it could do really well, and I mean, the hype would be unreal for this game if they were to decide to go free-to-play. But at the end of the day, guys, I'll be sure to give you guys more information as more information comes out about Back 4 Blood. But I'm excited about this title, guys. I really am. I am looking forward to something that has similarities to Left 4 Dead, because I think Left 4 Dead, we're never going to really replace what that was, what that experience was for all of us, right? Unless you get a game like Back 4 Blood that's a literal copy and paste. But I think that having games that have things that worked well for Left 4 Dead, worked wrong, and what can they do better moving forward, having the things that can really give us a refreshing take on this could be something really cool. And so Back 4 Blood, guys, is a game that I'm very much so looking forward to. Like I said, I'll keep you guys up to speed as more information comes out. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below, what do you guys want to see in Back 4 Blood? Let me know, and for more Back 4 Blood content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. I've always felt for a number of years now, guys, that Phase 5, the recruitment challenge, the pretty much the biggest recruitment challenge in, the history of gaming, I always thought that this was a recruitment challenge that kept trick-shotting and sniping alive in the Call of Duty community. So when you look at Call of Duty as a whole, it's a massive game. Then when you look at the sniping aspect as well as the trick-shotting aspect, you get smaller and smaller, kind of a niche genre within the Call of Duty space. And Phase 5, every time that it would come out, which a couple of times, and then of course they had the Phase 1 recruitment challenge, it seemed that that was almost the saving grace for the community. It would keep on, bringing the community back in a major way. Everyone would go for the recruitment challenge, trying their best to join the team. And I think that then that kind of sparked other teams doing recruitment challenges and things of that nature, but it was never the same, because we have recruitment challenges still going on to this day based around the Call of Duty community, the Fortnite community, and none of it is nearly as big as what Phase 5 is. And so in this segment of the show, I want to talk about what Phase 5 will do for the community at large. And when I say community, guys, I'm not only going to be talking about Call of Duty, I'm going to be talking about Fortnite. We're going to be talking about the stream community, the content creation community, because I believe that they're going to be trying to incorporate all of these different pieces into the next recruitment challenge. So basically, guys, I think when we look at the grand landscape of gaming, things have evolved since the last Phase 5. We've, of course, Fortnite has come out. Phase 5 was going to be a all Fortnite recruitment challenge that, a video came out with Banks, Rain, and Adapt stating that they were going to do an all Fortnite Phase 5. And then that video got deleted, I believe, and then, it never saw the light of day. Well, the question now is it going to be Fortnite incorporated into it, even though, Phase 5 traditionally has been always Call of Duty? And regardless of the way you look at it, when this recruitment challenge does come out, it's going to bring the entire community, and when I say community, the gaming community as a whole, together to try to join this, one of the biggest esports and just gaming teams in the world. So I think if you're talking about trickshotting and sniping, if they announce that Phase 5, they're going to recruit one trickshotter and one sniper to the team, I would say that there is going to be a massive amount of people going for the recruitment challenge as a trickshotter or sniper. If they announce that they're going to recruit a Fortnite player or two, then there's going to be tons of people in the Fortnite community going for the recruitment challenge. Probably everybody on Fortnite is going to be going for it. And then if they say that there's going to be, they're going to recruit a streamer as well as a content creator, all of those people, streamers and content creators, are going to be doing whatever it is they need to in order to try to join the team. And so what I'm getting at here, guys, this is a recruitment challenge because none of the real big teams out there really do recruitment challenges, right? You look at teams like, Optic and now Energy and, even now FaZe, it's been a while since they did one. A lot of these teams that are big esports organizations, Team Liquid, TSM, and the list goes on and on. You can look at all the biggest teams out there and none of them do any types of recruitment challenges. They all just recruit, esports players, and then a lot of times those esports players turn into personalities. And so I think that this is a really special way that the community has an opportunity to join a huge team. And I really hope that they go through with it, first of all, because we've been hearing for years rumblings that Phase 5 was coming back, and then we would basically just be teased, and then nothing would come of it. Now, I know that the logistics behind Phase 5 have got to be absolutely astronomical. I think now, though, that they have Nissan as a partner for this, or, they're sponsoring Phase 5, it looks like, that should, kind of hopefully relieve some of the stress that this recruitment challenge puts on everyone over at FaZe. But nonetheless, will it do huge things for the community? And what exactly is it going to do? I mean, guys, it's going to bring the entire Call of Duty community together in a major way, especially the trickshot and sniping communities if they decide to recruit a trickshot and sniper. The Fortnite community, lots of, talk about, with Fortnite, like just back and forth. People like Fortnite, people hate Fortnite now. Things have been changing all the time within the game. But nonetheless, if this recruitment challenge comes out and they're going to be looking for a Fortnite player or two, everyone's going to be going for it. I'll tell you that right now. And so I think what it's going to do for gaming as a whole is something really special. I really do. Because I think you're going to see the gaming world, the esports world, everything's going to come together for this recruitment challenge because everyone's going to want to join the team, right? Everyone is. I mean, everyone's going to be trying to go for the recruitment challenge, whatever that may be. All the logistics and the things of that nature that go into Phase 5 and what it is that they decide ultimately what direction they want to go down. I think it's going to be a huge ordeal for the community, guys. Now, is it going to revive trickshot and sniping in a major way like after the recruitment challenge? It's going to keep the community alive for years to come? I don't know about that, but it's certainly going to bring it back for a period in time. Let me know, though, guys. Are you going to be going for Phase 5? And if so, what are you hoping to go for the recruitment challenge as? Like a streamer, a content creator, a player, trickshot, or sniper? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Phase 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Bioshock is a very creative, franchise in my opinion, guys. One of the most creative out there in the gaming landscape as a whole. And, we've talked on the YouTube channel about Bioshock as a whole and the things that we want to see moving forward in this franchise. And you guys can check out all of the Bioshock content that we've put together on the YouTube channel. And in this segment of the show, guys, I want to talk about Bioshock 4 ultimately here and the top 5 things that we want out of this game. Because, you know, I think that there's always going to be things that you want out of a specific title that, whether it's been announced or not, there's going to be a list of things that you really are hoping for and that you want to come into that upcoming title. And so that's what we're going to do here. When I say we, guys, I'm talking about myself here, but I would absolutely love to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section down below, whether you agree with some of my top 5 or not. I would love to hear your top 5s in the comment section down below, as I said. And so at number 1, guys, for me, I think that one of the biggest things that I love about Bioshock, right? And I've been a pretty big fan of this franchise. The one biggest thing, though, for me has been the creativity here. I mean, being underwater cities to, you know, cities in the sky, and just all these different areas in which you are experiencing this story and starting to really unravel things as the story goes along. A lot of mystery and psychological elements to these games, and just such a rich story as a whole between the characters and such. And so what I really want is for them to keep up the creativity. And now I know Ken Levine and them, they're no longer working on Bioshock. We got a new developer that's working on the title and helming Bioshock 4 at this point. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I loved where those first 3 games, where they were going, especially with Infinite. I thought where they were headed, the direction in Infinite felt like this story was, or this universe was so much bigger than I had originally anticipated. And so I'm very excited to see where they go with the story. But just keep up the creativity. Keep on going in a direction. Whether, you know, you're going to stay in cities in the sky, or you're going to go back underwater, or if you're going to be on land at this point, whatever it might be, just keep the creativity going, whether we're talking from a story perspective, from a location perspective, whatever it is, keep up the creativity. At number 2 for me, guys, is I really want to see them continue the story from where Bioshock Infinite left off. And I would love to see a connection there. Whether we're talking, you know, it's once again in the, you know, in the sky, or if it's, you know, somewhere else, you know, obviously the different doors that open up different worlds and things of that nature. Whatever it is, I want to see it tie somewhat or another into Infinite and kind of where they left off with that story. I don't want them to get so convoluted like Assassin's Creed or something, where things start to get like a little bit confusing. I would rather them have it so that there's still a lot of mystery there, but they're starting to tie up some loose ends as well. And like I said, guys, I love mystery. I love having to think about different aspects of these games, and that's something that they've done very well with Bioshock. But at the end of the day, I think it's important that they also, you know, connect at some point or another. So as far as for me, I would love them to continue the story and then connect it between obviously Bioshock Infinite. And then at number 3, guys, I think something that is that we're becoming accustomed to in the Bioshock universe is the different locations. But I would love to see some new locations, some new characters, as well as some new enemies. I'd love to see new weapons as well, and all of those things. But the main things, guys, are new locations. Having a new location is going to keep the game very fresh. It's also going to introduce other characters. You know, I'm down to see, you know, characters that are existing characters that come back. And then I'm also very interested to see some new characters that you can kind of start to understand and connect with, right? And as you kind of go throughout the story. So I would love to see, you know, some existing characters. I'd love to see some new characters. And I would love to see some new enemies. Obviously bringing back like the Big Daddies and, you know, some of these other, you know, enemies. But also having new enemies that come into the fray as well, I think would make it, you know, would kind of just freshen things up as a whole. And then obviously, guys, you know, that kind of leads me into the next thing, which is a semi-open world to a full open world scale here. So what I'm getting at is that when we play the Bioshock games, they're pretty linear at this point. I think what would make this upcoming title really special, especially, I know you would be going with kind of a leap of faith here because you have a new developer that's working on Bioshock 4, but I think that if they gave it an open world feel, that you could really explore this world in its totality, that would be something really special. Now, even if it wasn't a full open world and it was a semi-open world, I think that we would really appreciate that as well. You keep a linear story, but more exploration I think would be really special for Bioshock 4. And, you know, because there's been times throughout the course of the story that I really want to explore literally everything, and you're just not able to because it's kind of more of a little bit more of a linear experience. So I'm just hoping that it's more of a full open world, or at least like more of a semi-open world kind of formula. And then rounding it out, guys, I think what's really important is multiplayer and co-op modes. After you're done with the story mode, I think it's really important, like most games out there, in my opinion, after you're done playing the story once or twice, or however many times you play it through, you have other ways you can come back to the game. You come back to playing Bioshock as a whole, playing with your friends in co-op modes. Hopefully they have some like co-op missions and such. And then obviously having multiplayer modes so you can play with your friends, and you know, hopefully they can elaborate on like having more game modes and things of that nature, which would really obviously help out as well. When you're talking about just the growth of the community, this is a franchise that has grown to massive proportions over the course of time. And I think that if you were to start implementing more multiplayer modes, more co-op modes, I think that could be really special. And, you know, guys, another thing, even though this wasn't necessarily in my top 5, something that I don't think is going to happen, but something that I talk about quite a bit on the YouTube channel that I'd like to see is a free-to-play kind of status for Bioshock 4. I think it would be really cool to see Bioshock 4 go in a direction of free-to-play, just because we see all these other AAA titles doing it. Now, whether or not that means that the full package is free-to-play, or just like the multiplayer elements or certain elements of Bioshock are free-to-play, I would love to see a free-to-play kind of motto here, simply because we see the success of so many of these other games out there, and Bioshock being one of the bigger titles out there could do really well, I believe, if you had certain elements of it free to play. So that's just another one I wanted to add in there, guys. But let me know, guys, what are you looking the most forward to in Bioshock 4? Even though it hasn't been confirmed, there have been obviously rumblings of this game being made at this point. We have no idea where it's going to be, you know, the locations or anything like that. But let me know what you guys want to see in Bioshock 4 in the comment section below. And for more Bioshock 4 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. Splinter Cell is one of the greatest stealth games ever made, in my opinion, guys. And I have been clamoring and hoping for a continuation of this franchise for a long time. I mean, pretty much ever since I finished up Blacklist, I wanted to continue the story, even though I thought Blacklist was kind of a step in the wrong direction from what they had been starting with Splinter Cell. And nonetheless, guys, I feel that there have been a lot of rumblings for a long time about a Splinter Cell 7, whatever that might be, that this game is under development, or it's in some stage of development at this point, and we're yet to hear any word about it. However, there are hints that we're getting along the way, and so what I want to go over in this segment of the show is everything we know so far about Splinter Cell 7, even though it's not a lot of information, guys, but sometimes the little things are actually telling us way more than we might actually originally think. And I want to go ahead and break it down, and then we can have a real conversation about it, and I can, of course, you know, we can consistently update this as more information comes out. So let's get into it. So guys, on Wikipedia, if you, you know, are on the Splinter Cell page, you can scroll down to the bottom, in which it goes to the future of this franchise from a video game perspective at E3 2017. Regarding Splinter Cell, Ubisoft CEO Vez Guillemot stated, "I can't say much about that, but for sure all the Clancy games are taken care of. It's just we have quite a lot on our plate at the moment. All the Clancy games are really coming along, so we are not forgetting Splinter Cell." Later, in an Ask Me Anything Reddit post, he stated, We don't have anything specific to share at the moment, but teams are working on different things, so stay tuned for more. In May of 2019, Julian Geraghty, Ubisoft creative director, announced on their social media page that a game is currently in development. In his statement, he said he had been working on the game with Ubisoft Montreal creative director Roman Campos Oriola and executive producer Dan Hay. However, Ubisoft later disputed this. Now look, here's what we can say. Vez Guillemot stating that, they're working on other Tom Clancy games. Obviously, guys, this was back in 2017. However, he didn't completely say that they've forgotten about Splinter Cell. They haven't forgotten about it yet, obviously, because it's kind of in the back of their mind, and they're bringing it up. Then in 2019, there's rumblings that these guys are working together, and they're starting to kind of come back together, and Ubisoft, they disputed this. But here's the thing. Even if they disputed it, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing there. There's a real possibility that they are actually working on these things behind closed doors, and Ubisoft just doesn't know what the timeline is. Maybe it's going to come out in the next few years. Maybe it's going to be a long time from now. So they don't want people to get their hopes up right this second. And obviously, guys, with some of the games and such that were getting announced, we didn't see Splinter Cell as of yet. However, I think that we may very well see something in the foreseeable future, to say the least. Now, what I will say is this, guys. Another thing that's interesting is when we look at the novels have kind of followed certain games, right? Blacklist Aftermath was the last one in 2013. So what I'm thinking to myself is that there's a real possibility here that the next novel would probably come out right around the same time that the next game comes out, that being Splinter Cell 7. And in an article, guys, that was written by Stephen Telby of Push, ex-Splinter Cell director reportedly returns to Ubisoft. Now, the idea of a modern Splinter Cell game has been flying around for what feels like an eternity. The series has been MIA since Blacklist on PlayStation 3, and that released nearly 7 years ago. Aside from a surprising cameo appearance in Ghost Recon Wildlands, Sam Fisher has been out of action for the whole PS4 generation. But publisher Ubisoft has hinted once or twice that the Tom Clancy stealth title could be coming back. Our latest clues comes courtesy of VGC, which reports that a key mind behind the franchise is now back at Ubisoft. Maxim Beland used to be creative director of the series, specifically the last two titles, but left the publisher in 2019 to pursue a role at Epic Games. Now he will be acting as vice president on the newly formed editorial team within Ubisoft. This new hire doesn't necessarily mean a new Splinter Cell is certain, but his experience with the series is notable. Beland is now in a pretty high position within the company, and with Ubisoft seemingly making an effort to diversify its output, a new stealthy adventure with Sam Fisher doesn't seem too far-fetched, and I 100% agree with this. Guys, when you look at these things, you got to take them with a pinch of salt, but at the same time, I do think that when you start seeing ex-Splinter Cell directors coming back to Ubisoft, there is a reason for this. There has to be. They're not just coming back just to come back. Sometimes, it might be a financial decision, but a lot of times, if they're hearing that, one of the projects that they've worked on that they feel comfortable with, and it's coming back, they may want to jump on board and be a part of that. So you got to think about that, even though obviously Maxim Beland, he's now vice president here, and I think that that's going to, that could really lead to something special for Splinter Cell 7 if it were to come out. Now, here's where I'm thinking that we're probably at as far as, development and such. It's probably in development at this point, guys, and I would say active development. Look, when we look at all the other games that are getting announced here by Ubisoft, the only one that we're not seeing is Splinter Cell, right? You're basically seeing, Watch Dogs Legion. You're seeing Rainbow Six Quarantine. You're seeing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You're probably going to be seeing a Far Cry 6 announced pretty soon. But who's to say that Splinter Cell 7 may not be announced this year? Maybe it'll be announced next year. But I think, guys, that these are clues that we are getting that are going to really show us over time that this is a game that is actually in development. And Ubisoft is just probably waiting for the perfect time to release it, because maybe Splinter Cell is not as big of a franchise. It's like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, which of course it really isn't. I mean, Splinter Cell isn't like a niche game, but it's a smaller community than that of like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. So that being said, guys, as far as all the things that we know so far about the game, we don't know, like, you know, the locations. We aren't sure any of those things. But what we do know is that it's in the back of the developer's mind. Think about this. You know, the fact of the matter that Sam Fisher made a guest appearance in Ghost Recon Wildlands, that shows you that they are showing kudos to Splinter Cell, but they're also saying, look, we haven't forgotten about Splinter Cell. It's a game that is going to come out at some point or another, guys. We might just have to wait a little bit longer. And with that, guys, I'm going to keep you guys all posted. As more information comes out, we're going to be consistently making more content based around Splinter Cell 7, talking about, you know, new information as it comes out, if it comes out, which we believe that it will. But I'll keep you guys up to speed as more information comes out. And I want to know from you guys, what do you guys want to see from Splinter Cell 7 at this point? What is it that you guys want to see? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Splinter Cell 7 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.